Mathale, swear that the evidence that I shall give shall be truth,
the whole truth and nothing else but the truth.
the whole truth and nothing else but the truth.
And so help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much.
Were you at the January the 8th ANC celebrations in, I think it was in Cape Town,
Yeah, I was.
in Kalitsa?
Yes.
Did you discuss this directive with the minister at that gathering, or maybe even with former Minister Cassel at that gathering?
No, at the gathering, the minister was not present.
Did you discuss it with the president?
No.
Did the minister tell you that he discussed it with the president?
Well, he might have discussed with the president, because in our engagement we did say the minister must take the president into confidence on the things that he intends to do. So he must he must discuss with the president. Whether he discussed with the president or not, I don't know, because I was not in attendance.
Subsequent to the directive, and after you had sight of it or heard about it, read about it on social media, did you discuss the directive with the National Commissioner or any of the Deputy Commissioners, or with Lieutenant General Kunazi or Kumalo?
No, with General Kwanaze and Kumalo, no, but with the National Commissioner. In the meetings that he was in, we did discuss it, but not outside those meetings.
And as you were discussing it, what was your sense of whether this directive, which required the immediate disestablishment of the task team, where was this now going?
The immediate was it was not happening, because, as I said to you, I mean, if up to now the task team exists. So the crafting of the letter, it just made it difficult to implement what was in there, because it's not possible. Once something is immediate, in the day-to-day use of immediate, it's immediate.
Okay. And the other aspects of this directive, that the National Commissioner must have a report ready on the 20th of January. Did you know whether that was done or not?
There are things that didn't happen because of that. For instance, the issues around filling up of posts didn't happen, which had any, what one can say, a negative impact on the strengthening of the crime intelligence that we're engaged in.
So you weren't privy to the report which the National Commissioner gave to the Minister, I think it was on the 22nd of January.
On the close-up report.
Yes.
Well, most of the reports the National Commissioner and the Minister discussed them in our presence, but I'm not sure which a specific report you are referring to.
Yeah. Do you meet with the minister once these reports are submitted to him and copied to you? Do you discuss them?
Normally, when there are briefings, they will make copies available, and we will then discuss them. Depending on the sensitivity of the documents, we will then hand them over. But if they are not sensitive, we keep them.
I think the bigger question here is there a need for deputy ministers?
Yeah.
And then speak to that, and then we can understand the process of, amending the Constitution and to take that into account.
Yeah.
But for the majority of South Africans, we don't know, because a lot of our money just goes and deputy ministers are wandering around. So tell us, what role exactly are deputy ministers going to play outside that they should be able to step in as acting ministers if the need arises? Thank you.
No, thank you, Chair, and thanks for the question. I think the deputy ministers have a role to play. It was seen then in '94 when the Constitution was crafted that the President will appoint deputy ministers, and they will account to Parliament, and they will be given responsibilities to function. We can say maybe the Constitution is not explicit enough in terms of what they need to do, but a role to play they have. If you look at the ministry that we are talking about, as I said earlier, it's a ministry that is composed of almost 4 departments. And each of them very complex, very difficult to deal with. You need an extra hand. It's necessary to have deputy ministers, Honorable. I'm convinced about that. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Nomvalo.
No, I just want to confirm that in the current framework, Minister, at DM, in the current framework of deputy ministers, the performance agreement is the only instrument that you can use to assess the performance of ministers, correct?
Yeah.
So it means currently there is nothing, or there is no authority or instrument that is in place that is being used to assess your performance.
Absolutely, because you need that agreement so that you can then take steps necessary against non-performance by anyone after they've been assigned responsibilities.
Okay, lastly, Chair, when you are responding to the Chief Whip of the ANC, you kept on saying you have a good working relationship with the suspended minister,
Yeah.
Minister Mchunu.
Yeah.
So against which working instrument do you make that determination? Because there is absolutely no framework that creates a synergy between yourself and him. No. So is it based on feelings, or is based on the performance of your performance as a deputy minister and how he supports the work that he established for you in a performance agreement? So where do you base that?
Thank you, Honorable Member, and thanks, Chair. Why do I say I have a good relationship with him? It's a relationship that I've had with him long before he became a minister. And he came in the space we worked together. The absence of the delegated authority that does not mean the relationship that I have with him is non-existent. It does. It does exist, and I'm referring to that. And obviously, once delegations are given, you can then, the issues that you are raising can also come into effect. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, DM,
Afternoon.
Honorable Deputy Minister Mathale.
Afternoon.
I know that
It is one of the biggest. I'm not sure
Yes.
whether it's one of the biggest.
Yes.
Not sure what the biggest is.
Yes.
One of the biggest in our administration,
Yes.
and must be one of the most important portfolios.
Yes.
You accept that?
Yes, I do.
So in other words, it's a big portfolio, too big for one person
Yeah.
to handle.
Absolutely.
That's why he gets 2 deputies,
Yes.
and he has to assign, in terms of the Constitution, and you have it on at paragraphs 9, 10, and 11 of
yes.
your statement.
Yes.
To assign, it says, deputy ministers appointed are accountable to Parliament
Yes.
for the exercise of their powers and the performance of their functions.
Yes.
So you account for the powers and functions assigned to you by the minister.
Yes.
So a question which I think has been floating around for most of this afternoon, but I believe we're just skirting the issue.
Yes.
Because if you do appear before the Portfolio Committee on Police, because you haven't been assigned any powers or functions, you can't account for anything.
In the absence of powers not delegated, when you come to appear before the committee, like it happened 2 weeks back, SC, I had mandate from the acting minister to represent the department with full authority.
That's different from having been assigned powers in terms of the Constitution by
course.
Minister Mchunu.
Of course. Of course. I
So
agree.
Minister Mchunu has been constitutionally delinquent in more than a year later not assigning you any powers or functions. Can we accept that? Apart from the excuses that you've made for him for not doing so.
Yeah, look, I can't say he has he has been a constitutional delinquent, I can't say that. But of course, the Constitution says that must happen.
Now it hasn't happened.
It hasn't
What
happened
else
up
can
to
be the reason or the excuse?
The reason I gave is that he was familiarizing himself with the institution so that he can then execute this responsibility.
But with respect, Deputy Minister, it applies the other way around. I would have thought someone, unlike PKTT, here's a brand new minister, I would, on the very first day, say, DM Mathale, you've been around the block, I'm going to give you X, Y, Z, and even more than what you normally get. Until I'm comfortable in the job, and I will withdraw those powers and assume it myself. And I become not the other way around.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you.
Now this is a serious issue.
Yeah.
Because or rather when you were serving with Tele, if you look at the delegation at the back of your
Yeah.
statement, the Police Portfolio Committee can really only ask you about Program 1, Police Administration, not quite sure what that is. Public Entities Coordination, reporting to the Minister of Police.
Yeah.
That might be important because you're dealing with entities like Transnet and our situation at the ports, which is very worrying. The establishment of Detective Training Academy, as important as it is to develop our police in the context of what you're talking about, and not really relevant. Educational and rural safety programs, again, important to engage all our people throughout the country, including rural areas. And then women and youth development programs.
Yeah.
Those are the powers and functions, or the functions that's been allocated to you.
Yeah.
Now, for more than a year, you've had nothing. And when you come before the portfolio committee, you can give one of two answers. You can either be a general sort of like a GP. You can comment on everything and anything without any authority. Or you can actually say, sorry, to the portfolio committee, I don't have anything to say because I haven't been allocated any powers or functions. So do you agree it's an unacceptable state of affairs?
I do agree, SC.
Now, the last aspect is just whether the IMC still exists or not. Former Minister Cassel told us that he had sight of the delegated functions given to Minister Kubai, who's our Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development. And one of those functions include serving on the IMC. And this was put to Minister Mchunu, and he could obviously not dispute it. Can you dispute it?
Of course, if that's the case, I can't dispute it because I don't have sight of that.
So we have the situation where a current member of the Cabinet for Justice and Constitutional Development serves on the IMC. They may not have been convened yet. And it may again be the fault of Minister Mchunu, who still seems to be familiarizing himself with how the police works. Or it could be that it's just not been in his interest to do so. But you don't need to give an answer.
Yeah.
The other reason why it exists is we know a budget has been approved by the National Commissioner, I think a much reduced budget. I think initially Mkwenazi requested 97 million and Dampani intervened and said, look, we don't have money, we need to be alive to the budget, and allocated 20 million. But it's until March 2026. So one would be surprised that the TOS, the PKTT, is in existence until at least March next year, but there's no IMC to whom they should actually be accounting. Thank you, Deputy Minister. Thank you very much for your time, your cooperation, and we appreciate your attendance. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
He's still familiarizing himself with the institution or with the organization. Where does he get that from? Where do you get that from at DM? Did the minister ever engage you? Did he ever make any indication to you to say, guys, I'm busy familiarizing myself, and in due course, I will delegate responsibilities to you? Or we are just assuming?
No, it's not an assumption. That's what he did indicate, that as soon as he's ready, that will be done.
Did he give you a time frame to say, within this period, the delegation framework will be ready?
No.
He didn't?
No.
Okay, no, thank you, Chair.
Chair, if I may. Was this in writing or it was verbal?
No, it was not in writing.
Okay, thank you.
Your microphone is still on. Do you still want to continue? Okay. Thank you so much.
Of the PKTT.
There is any?
Renaissance, the revival.
Oh.
That we can as well Because when I hear you earlier, you were saying that perhaps the winding up, it's a good thing. In my view, I don't think it's a good thing. I want to find, out from you whether this PKTT, in fact, because as you know, there's other provinces, there's an outcry in other provinces as well that perhaps they needed to be attended to.
Well, I hear you. Thank you, Chair. I hear you, Honorable Member, and I have no problem with the questions that were asked around this, and you asking the same question in a different way. That's why we are here. I think you'll agree with me, Honorable Member, that if we increase our efficiency and our effectiveness in dealing with murder in the country, and we become effective, if you kill somebody, you get arrested, you get convicted, and throughout the country, there won't be any need for us to talk of a task team, because we will not be having a problem. A problem arises when you have matters that are not resolved. And I think that's what we want to deal with. We want to create the institutional capacity in SAPS to be able to deal with any eventuality that our people are confronted with. If you commit crime, you will be arrested. If you kill, you will be arrested and you will be convicted.
In your view, what was the encumbrancy, hindrance, in other words, why you and the Deputy Minister were not delegated powers as is required by the Constitution, that the Minister has to give you, he must delegate powers to you?
Well, I felt very strongly that we must engage with the minister and assist them to fully grasp the complexities of the institution that we are dealing with, so that when he ultimately say, let's delegate responsibilities to this DM and that DM, these are the responsibilities we are delegating to, he is fully alive to what he's dealing with. And I think this is what delayed the whole process, and I'm confident sitting here before you, Chair, and members, that I think the Minister, currently as we speak, he has a fair grasp. He might not be 100% perfect about the workings of the institution, but he has a fair grasp of what needs to be done. And if he is back in office by the end of this week, he will be able to deal with this, which has been outstanding.
I just want to make a follow-up question as well. I'm not going to go back to the issue that you were appointed in July 2024, which means you're almost over a year working with the minister.
Yeah.
I asked this because in a written statement, you indicated that Minister Mchunu did not consult you or Deputy Minister Bushielo before deciding on the disbandment of the PKTT. But as you know now, that the PKTT formation was not only about the Minister of Police. There were ministries, like my colleague has articulated earlier. In your discussions, if you ever discussed with the minister, did he mention that he's not alone, so he can't take a decision alone on this matter? And did you perhaps as well discuss with the National Commissioner, in your meeting with the National Commissioner, the minister, and your other colleague, about this matter of disbandment, besides the letters of the 31st, as earlier before that?
Thank you, and thank you, Chair. We have had engagements, and that's why when you look at the presentation that we made to the committee that talks to the PKTT and how it must fold its operations. We presented a phased-in approach, and this approach was not necessarily presented by the National Commissioner. We were led by the Minister. So Team SAPS was presenting that, and that is our view as far as that is concerned.
You reveal in your statement something very concerning, that you said since the take-up of your role under Minister Mchunu, you have not been assigned to any specific functions and have been working on some sort of ad hoc. But in other words, you work like you are moonlighting. You know, in a simple term, let me put it like that. What do you think is the reason for this? Because surely it cannot be administratively or operational sound that for a year you are still waiting for the minister to delegate powers to you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Member. And unfortunately, we don't have delegated authority, and I've explained why I think that is the case. And the reason being that the minister was familiarizing himself, and I think I can't say now as we speak, he's still familiarizing himself. That's why I'm saying if he comes into office tomorrow, he will be able to start processes to finalize this, because he's fairly clued up with the happenings of SAPS.
Were you forlorn on that? Were you forlorn on that? Were you unhappy about that yourself and your minister?
That we have not delegated authority?
Yes.
Of course, I was not comfortable that I don't have. No. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a good thing. Like I sit here, I say I'm not delegated functions, but I understand where the minister comes from. He must understand so that he know what he is doing when he delegates. You can't just delegate without fully grasping the dynamics in the space.
Would you agree that perhaps it was a lack of experience and the capacity which were limited to the Minister Mchunu in terms of the operational dynamics of South African Police Service?
Well, as I said, he was familiarizing himself, and you can't delegate functions of something you are familiarizing yourself in.
As you said earlier, you've been appointed by the President, am I right?
Yeah.
Have you ever discussed your concern with the President?
Well, the President has delegated the minister to deal with the matter, and the minister was dealing with it. The process he was following was to familiarize himself, and when he has full clarity of what needs to be done, he was going to execute.
So the President might not be aware that you don't have delegated powers. The minister did not do that to you.
Well, I don't think the President is not aware of what is happening. He knows.
So the President might have been briefed about this matter. Now, let's come to the issue of the arrest of Khumalo. Were you aware in advance about the Khumalo's arrest, including the time, the location, and the manner in which it was going to be carried out?
We are not aware of subjects of investigation and when arrests are made. You only learn after the fact.
You didn't receive any formal briefing on the details of his arrest, because as you know, it is commonly known now that when General Mkhwanazi was here, he was very specific about IDEC, that they are law unto themselves, and there's some rogue elements at IDEC. Do you agree with that assertion?
Well, that is information at his disposal, which I don't have. And secondly, the issue of arrests, we don't get briefed of subjects of investigations. And when arrests are made, we only know about them after the fact. When arrests have been made, people have appeared in court, then we get to know that so-and-so was arrested, and he appeared in court.
In your opinion, does the coexistence of IDEC and DPCI not constitute a duplication of roles and responsibility?
Not necessarily, but I think we can do better by integrating our efforts in fighting crime or corruption.
You've been a deputy minister now for many years, I must say.
6 years.
And the experience which you have, which is unused in a way. I'm not saying we are not working daily. Not long ago, we were here. I think a week ago,
Yeah.
and we turn you back because the minister was not here.
Yeah.
The acting minister was not here.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to bother you much about that. My question, because I know the chair is looking at me now to say I must do as others have done, but I want to disappoint him a bit and our members. I won't take time. The issue which I wanted to raise to you, the issue of factions within the South African top echelons at the South African Police Service. You said in your word, you don't think there's any factionalism. Am I right?
Yes.
What do you think is the problem? Because we've seen other witnesses here. It was evident that there's a serious problem in the top echelon of the South African Police Service.
Of course.
Did you discuss that with the suspended or the special leave minister?
Well, the issues that were raised here that indicates differences, I saw them when they presented here. I know that there was a meeting that the minister convened with the National Commissioner and the DNC SBIA and General Mkhwanazi to try and assist in bridging, making them work together. I'm aware about that. But the issues of factions, as I've explained, you know, when you have 100,000 people, and I'm not saying 3 people, but there are other people, but whoever they are, they don't constitute a significant number of police that are involved in these differences. And as a result, I maintain that the South African police is intact and we don't have factions in the police. You do have individuals who disagree on matters, but I can't subscribe that to factionalism. For instance, if you look at the case in point here, the people that appeared here, they are individuals that have appeared here, not SAPS, the organization, the institution. So I can't subscribe individuals into factions in SAPS, and SAPS is characterized by factions, no. And the issue of our being turned back here, Chair, by the committee, we accepted your ruling in that meeting, but we didn't agree with it because we believe the committee should have exercised their responsibilities, which was to look at the annual performance plan, which was presented by people delegated to present that responsibility, and it's in line with the Constitution. It's unfortunate that we were made to turn back, which we have accepted, even though we didn't necessarily agree. You remember, I made my comments in that meeting, Honorable Scosan.
Because what you are saying to me, you are saying, you are working, you are doing something. It's like, look busy, Jesus is coming. No. So to me, it gives me that. Doesn't it worry your conscience, Hori? So much money has been spent on 5 positions that are not seriously helping South Africans. I'll be doing my last question after this. When the light is red, it's time for the last question. Once. Which party are you coming from, sir? Which party deployed you?
Is that part of your terms of reference?
No.
Because
It's just-
I want to bet so
it
that
is political interference. That's what I want to know. It's political,
so
part of
that
political interference.
Look, I am a member of the African National Congress.
And your second deputy,
She's a member of the ANC as well.
but member of ANC as well.
Absolutely.
You may answer that question. Thank you, Chair. Remember, there's a question.
But why are you appointed as deputy minister, and then you have got an acting minister? You know, the minister is on leave because we have to deal with what we are dealing with now here. That's why you are part of the ad hoc committee that is presiding to deal with these facts so that you are able to advise Parliament, for Parliament to advise on how things can be done better, different from what brought us here. And because of that, you must have somebody responsible for policing, and an acting minister has been appointed in that regard. Thank you very much, Chair.
Sorry, Chair. I think that my question was not answered. Maybe you didn't hear my question. My question speaks to your conscience. For these 5 positions are chowing in the same pot at one time. What is your perception regarding that, and how do you feel about it, Ori? There's 2 deputy ministers, there's 2 acting ministers, there's 1 suspended ministers. All of these people are still getting salaries, by the way, except for one, Honorable Mantashe, if I may say. What's your take on that? What about the South Africans? What are you saying to them about that?
Look, it's not about my feelings that we are dealing with here. We are dealing with...
Can you come forward to the mic, sir, while you speak about...
I think, Chair, I don't think the member, the question that he's raising is relevant to what we are dealing with, and I've tried to answer him. He's not satisfied with my answer. I can't answer beyond this.
So you are satisfied with the answer that you have given?
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable members, we
Chair,
will come back
Sorry, Chair.
at 4:30.
point of order, Chair. If you say you're asking them, the honorable sitting there, Ori, is he satisfied with the answer? What is the answer? What was the answer? I didn't hear an answer, sir.
Yeah, what he says is that the answer that he has given to you, he stands by it.
Answer to which question, sir?
My understanding is that the question that you were asking was a follow-up, and that is why you were able to clarify it.
Chair, which party are you from? I feel there's a defense here, Chair. I feel that way, not disrespect intended, because the question I asked, Chair, if no mamets, if Ngarim answer when that he gave me, you can't give it to me unless Chair when you can just clarify to me. No, he answered this way in this
You
question.
asked him a question
Yes.
about appointment of 5. I listened very carefully.
Yes, and what was the answer, Chair?
And he responded.
Which was the answer? I didn't get the answer, Chair. That's what I'm asking.
But you asked a follow-up question. You even said to
No, I
him
was
that-
clarifying the question, Chair.
No, listen to what you said. You said to him that the question I'm asking is talking to your consciousness. I heard everything. And he came back and said the answer that I gave on that question. But look, I'm prepared to.
No, Chair, we can drop it. I understand. Chair.
No. We don't do things like that. We don't work like that. Because at the time you finished questioning, it was 18 minutes past 4, and your time has ended at 4:15. And how I want us to conduct proceedings must be in such a way that we show respect to one another as members of this committee. When your time is up, it is up, and that must be the understanding honorable members, because I wanted to call a break, a 15 minutes break. No, I must call a break. But before I call a break, I want us to get back to our business. And the only way of getting back to business is to do things in accordance with our agreements. When time has expired, it has expired, and unfortunately we can't reverse the clock.
Thank you.
And you know, Honorable Shong, I always want to declare how I equally want to be seen. It's not just about treating you equally, but manifestly seen treating you equally. And I just want to request that we have that kind of cooperation.